Hey, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a movie coming out in a few weeks, and it's kind of a big deal. No. In theaters on that most special day, April 20th. And a week later, there's some indie trash coming out called... In honor of Infinity War today, I am ranking every movie and television show in the MCU together in one list. Let's jump right in and not waste any more of the very precious little time we have to spend together here today. From showrunner Scott Buck, the man who ruined Dexter, comes Marvel's answer to Game of Thrones on the budget of Grey's Anatomy. This footage speaks for itself. Also from Scott Buck comes a corporate melodrama about an immature billionaire and his kung fu superpowers trying to redeem his family legacy. Hard pass. I haven't seen the show, and thus it has not offended me yet. This is the only MCU film that I would call a 100% waste of time. There is not one interesting thing about this placeholder. Alright, so you cast Sigourney Weaver, market her as the main villain, give her nothing good to do, and kill her off early. Wow. It seems strange now with ant people and wizards all over the place, but a decade ago, Thor was a risk. A Shakespearean space god? Who cares? Said the haters. But Thor succeeded with star performances and a funny script. The MCU's dirty secret, The Incredible Hulk doesn't do anything especially great, but as the shortest film in the MCU, it keeps a steady pace, enjoys some cheap fun, and has some solid performances around Edward Norton, who is out of place. I'm just lumping the rest of the Netflix shows in together here. Daredevil and Jessica Jones had very good first seasons. Luke Cage had half of a very good season. All the follow-up seasons have been disappointments, and honestly, I haven't watched The Punisher. This film has a very good first act and an entertaining finale. However, the middle act is the biggest trudge in the MCU. Not even Academy Award winning actor Sam Rockwell can make up for the awful pacing, but boy does he try. Snarky Benedict Cumberbatch and psychedelic visuals. This film has both in spades. Otherwise, the script is average, following the Marvel origin formula without adding anything new, and despite her best efforts, Rachel McAdams was wasted. This film had everything the first Avengers had and more. More plot, more characters, more banter, more effects, more world building, more, just more! This film is an example of why less is more. It feels like it was assembled on 3 factory lines, but Joss Whedon manages to pull it together barely. Let's talk about a film that at least tries to overhaul the formula, even if it doesn't always succeed. From Shane Black, writer of Lethal Weapon and director of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Do you see that in the thing? Can you...
Ow! Comes this ridiculous buddy cop comedy with an emotional core that had the guts to spit in the face of hardcore Marvel fans to mixed reaction. For 18 glorious episodes, Haley Atwell shined as Peggy Carter in this post-World War II espionage noir. With its retro aesthetic, tightly constructed plots, campy nature, this show aimed to please with simple ass-kicking. Now here's a good example of less is more. Marvel followed the bloated Ultron with this largely standalone and small-scale comedic heist from Peyton Reed, with a talented cast giving purpose to one of Marvel's most ludicrous heroes. Tom Holland is Spider-Man, there is no debate, but more importantly, Tom Holland is Peter Parker. He, along with director John Watts and a whopping 6 writers, bring us a John Hughes-style coming-of-age story that reinforces why Spider-Man is one of the most popular characters in all of American media when handled correctly. Wow. This is the first MCU film that felt right out of the pages of a comic book. A crowd-pleasing World War II adventure with thrills, heart, humor, and a retro visual flair. It's pure fun, nothing less. This show started poorly, there is no denying, but S.H.I.E.L.D. crumbling at the end of the first season provided a creative spark that never died out. Season 2 forward, this show has been a tense ensemble thriller that's been to space, attacked by body-snatching robots, encountered Ghost Rider, multiple Patton Oswalts, and eternally at war with Hydra. With a rapidly moving story, top-notch cast, and solid action, this show truly gives you a mini Marvel movie every week. Here's a punchline, there's a punchline, you laughing at? Here's another joke. What's that? You want some character development? Have some orgy jokes in a Disney film. Here's Judge Dredd with a shake weight. Ha! References. This film is a collection of one-liners. Don't get me wrong, they're funny, for the most part very funny, and Taika Waititi's direction is beautiful, but this film lacks the dramatic depth needed to be higher on the list. Guardians is a better example of a rapid joke comic book film. The jokes here are more tailored to the interaction between the 5 mismatched protagonists. The jokes serve to further the characterizations rather than to just get a laugh. It also has a light amount of dramatic depth, enough to allow you to emotionally invest, which is something Ragnarok lacked. Just like Taika Waititi, James Gunn perfectly executes his unique vision. I will admit that in some aspects, Guardians Volume 2 is inferior to its predecessor. The second act drags. There's too much exposition. It's not as surprising of an experience. However, this film's finale is my second favorite in the MCU, and it's easily the most emotional. I had no idea where this film was heading until my single favorite line of dialogue in the MCU.
It broke my heart to put that tumor in her head.
Wow. What a great line, and launching immediately into the final action sequence, concluding with the most poignant death in the MCU. Back in 2012, I went to the Marvel Phase 1 marathon. I spent 18 hours in a theater with 300 other nerds, rewatching all the Marvel films to date leading to the premiere of the Avengers, and it remains to date my favorite cinema experience. Joss Whedon was the only man who could have made this film right, and he justified not only the preceding films, but a rapidly expanding slate of films on the horizon. It had action, it had comedy, it had all the stars. It's the definition of a game changer. Civil War takes the best parts of the Avengers films and introduces deep character-driven stakes. Pitting the large ensemble against each other while concluding the Captain America trilogy seems like it would be tough to juggle, but directors Joe and Anthony Russo pull off the balance seamlessly. The film is a bit overstuffed, but all the material is top-notch, unlike with Age of Ultron. Oh, and not to mention, Civil War gave us the introduction of the most recent MCU film. Black Panther is a cultural landmark in American and global cinema. Ryan Coogler's international spy thriller dove headfirst into socioeconomic injustices in today's society, while celebrating African culture the way only $200 million can. The electric cast featured several stars in the making, anchored by Chadwick Boseman and topped by Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, one of the best villains of the 21st century, yet barely in the first half of this film. The film that started this whole journey, Iron Man, was the perfect marriage of producer Kevin Feige, director Jon Favreau, and resurging megastar Robert Downey Jr. With its grounded visual style, witty dialogue, fast pace, and ace performances from RDJ, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Jeff Bridges, this film redefined what a superhero film could be while laying the groundwork for the biggest revolution in Hollywood history, that of the cinematic universe. I've already made a video on why this film is the best in the MCU, but to summarize, this quickly moving political thriller follows Captain America, an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., as a massive conspiracy unfolds following the reappearance of an assassin known as the Winter Soldier. With a script that stays 2 steps ahead of the audience and the most intense action sequences in the whole MCU, this is the first film in the MCU that displayed the dramatic possibilities of this universe. Joe and Anthony Russo developed their genre chops on television sitcoms Arrested Development and Community, and here execute an uncompromising vision flawlessly. I have complete faith that they will deliver with Avengers Infinity War and its untitled sequel. Alright, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Please let's have a conversation in the comments. Tell me how I'm wrong. I look forward to the debate. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already, and stay tuned for more here on TVJunkie.